Hi guys, welcome back to the TAE Time Podcast. And who do we have today?
Yeah, damn, we got Farouk.
I'm Nicoletta.
And of course your host, Esteban Hudia Ricardo Montoya de Huda de Lester Ramirez in the building.
Is back.
He's
AKA
back.
Wole Bear.
No, Farouk, look, yeah. I'm changing that. Like, I need to rebrand.
Oh, okay.
Is it just Wole now?
Yeah, like, just I don't even like my own name. So, I'm just
You
gonna
have a
have
nice
to.
name, though.
I'm just gonna have to. Farouk, no man.
Wole is nice and simple.
It is.
It actually isn't.
How?
Say my name.
Wole.
No, see, that's
Yeah,
not
I
it.
guess Wole.
No,
Wole.
even you say
Wole.
no. It's
Wally.
no. See, Wale.
Wole. That is not your
And
bad.
that's the like the diluted version, yeah.
Yeah, that's not your bad.
Exactly.
Way to say it.
It's Wale.
Yeah, Wole.
No, Farouk, you say it wrong. as
How am I
well.
saying it wrong?
It's literally Wale. You're too westernized.
How?
I'm sorry, yeah, you're too westernized.
I feel like he's saying it with more of an accent than you are.
No,
Yes. Like Bolawon.
Bolahon.
It's not
No.
Bolawon.
No, it's no.
Omo Bolawon.
Omo Bolahon.
Hon.
No, no hon.
I'm saying that's what you're saying.
No. Okay. Anyways,
This
I have the two guests
what
here
would
with
you rebrand as?
me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Oh.
have a few aliases, but obviously I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah, he doesn't want to know.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It has to be a special announcement.
No.
You know,
It doesn't
eventually.
even need to be announced. man.
Not even
Just-
announced. Just keep it quiet.
Just keep it on the low.
Jeez,
Yeah.
must be nice, you
on the
know.
low.
Must be nice, you know.
So,
What are we doing today? Tell us.
today we're going to be.
Wale one day before we started here. I said, "Don't touch the fucking stand." The first thing he tries to do.
You know when you're the type of person, yeah, when you're talking, you like talk with your hands and you know your movements. As well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try.
the same.
I'm gonna do my best.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Because I'm the same. I always talk with my hands. But the thing is, the problem is when you touch these, it picks up on those little sounds, and it's just so annoying.
Sorry, you're sound engineer.
I'm sorry. I don't have big budget sets that with the hanging mics that if you touch it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
When you guys start paying me,
How about the what's it called
the ones the clip ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was thought about those.
It's-
They
it's
could be
less
cool.
stressful.
It might be less stressful. I'll have to look into it, to be honest. You know, it's definitely more expensive anyway
Is it?
for a proper one. Like I'd assume
I was
so.
thinking maybe £20.
£20. These
no,
alone each
like
cost
this,
£100.
but like the small
these
ones
are
are
more.
cheaper, no?
Yeah.
No, because it's not. You can't just get a normal small one. You need
We
to get
are
a proper
we
big
are
one.
derailing. From
Yeah,
the-
We
probably
are
are,
actually
yeah,
drilling.
yeah.
What are we talking
So
about
This
today?
is what happens.
Yeah. So hi guys, welcome back to my podcast, and we got two special guests here. You know,
Thanks for having
thanks
us.
for having
they're
us.
from the EAT podcast.
EAT.
Oh yeah, and you're
Yeah,
It's your TAE
I'm
time.
the
yeah.
TAE Time
Oh
podcast.
yes,
now.
yes.
We talk about everything over here.
Nah, this is gonna be too funny.
So what are we talking about today,
Yeah,
guys?
nah, today
Yeah.
we're talking about Black History Month, and not just because it is Black History Month. You know, it's the end of it when this
Is it
gonna come
really?
out.
Is it really Black History Month?
Well, in Europe anyway.
Yeah,
in
but like-
October.
To you, is it Black History Month?
Like
Let's get straight into it.
Let's get
that quick.
right into it.
Deeper, Farouk. Yeah.
Yeah,
On a real thing.
yeah.
What does Black History Month mean to you?
Well, you see, the difference for me is like one. I think it meant more when I was actually working in the office, right? You know, when I was in the office, you know, I was seeing people, seeing things. I could talk to people. You know, I did like, I did like
I actually hear
panels.
that, you know.
Like even when I was at work, I did panels for Black History Month. I was part of the Black at Work Day, thing. So we were setting up stuff. So it meant a lot more. But now that I'm working from home, like I'm not interacting with anyone. So like,
Okay, but
nothing's really happening.
Even at work, yeah, when you be interacting with people,
Yeah.
like, do you see the outcome of whatever you're telling them or talking about?
You see, that's the thing. It's like I feel like we don't ever see the outcome straight away. We're hoping that the outcome down the line will be good.
Yeah, because like
Obviously, because as I said, I've given panels on like what it means to be Black, what it means like my own personal stories and stuff like that. But like, and I'm hoping that the person will understand and like be like less racist or not racist.
man,
or
let me tell you something now, man.
There's hope.
God, there's hope, fish. There is. I believe there is hope, but for us to get there,
Oh, it's gonna take a long time.
A while.
No, it's gonna take a long time. But I think that's one of those things that we're more cynical.
What do you mean?
I think you and I and our generation are a lot more cynical when it comes to like the hope of like, you know, racism and stuff, because we experience a lot more than like I would say the younger. Like this is one thing I was actually gonna bring up on the podcast today is that, you know, like when we grew up, you and I both have literally had multiple situations of like people calling us
man.
like nigger on the street, or if I remember one specific one for you in school and everything.
Whoa!
yeah.
Bringing it from school.
Yeah, in secondary school. I won't name who it is. It's someone we know well.
Yeah, we're actually cool with him now.
We're cool with
Oh,
him
he's
now.
still in your lives.
Yeah,
Yeah, like if we see him in, I'd say hi to him. Like
exactly. I mean, he's close friends with like Sharif and the boys. So
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I'm
that's
actually gonna say
bringing
more
it
'cause
close. That's already bringing
says
it closer.
But more of the story is he said nigger.
And you know the
to
funny
Wale.
thing, yeah? I look back at it now, yeah. I feel like he said it just to say because he knew that was gonna
Piss
sting.
you. Yeah.
Looking at him, yeah. I don't even think he's racist or anything like that.
Yeah, no, he was just doing to
But
piss
why?
you off.
What was the experience? What happened?
Oh man, I can't even remember what it was over.
It-
He just came out, just like
Yeah, at the back of the school.
Oh, that's
At
it,
the
like-
back of the school, I want to beat his.
It wasn't even that I beat his ass or anything. Like I don't even know why. I look back at it now. I just feel like that was just so unnecessary. It's like as well. I was hearing it, yeah, and it's like I meant to be angry about that word, and I meant to start fighting it. Do you get me?
Yeah, but also
yeah.
I feel like, for me, like a lot of times when I beat up people because they said the word, it's just because like it's not because of the word is said. It's because of the way I know they're saying it to piss me off, and they're trying to degrade me and stuff. But like, and once again, like situations like that of us growing up, kind of in that scenario, I feel it makes us feel like that's one thing I was kind of saying to my brother actually recently, that when we were growing up, right, Boss and I had completely different outlooks. So like me and my dad were always like, oh, white people are very racist. Like so many people, like majority of them are always racist and stuff like that. And like, you know, because I experienced a lot of racism, a lot of people calling me the N-word and stuff like that. Whereas Boss, who in their generation is a lot more, you know, they had like a little bit more better mix, you know, like the white guys were better to them, but they still had a much bigger black community than us.
Oh, they definitely did, man.
They didn't deep it as much, you know. They're like, oh, white people aren't that racist, it's camp.
Yeah.
And I was like, one day you'll find out, boy. And that's one thing we were talking about recently. That's like, as I got older, I was like, okay, maybe I was a little bit more harsh on white people. Like, not as many of them are as racist as I believed when I was younger. And also, unfortunately, because he grew up, he started experiencing more racism. He's like, okay, there is actually more racist people than I thought initially. And it's sad that it has to get to that point, you know. But like, it's crazy how like
It's sad when you have to realize that you're black.
you know, that is a perfect quote.
As wild as it is, yeah. Like when you realize that you're black, it's like you see the divide in the things that you're able to accomplish and how fast you can actually accomplish it.
You know, it's
compared
crazy.
To, and when we say it, yeah, people think that like it's probably like, oh, here we go. They're complaining
if
again.
If you even think about it, like what our parents, like I remember when my parents used to always tell me when I was young, going like, you're going to have to work 4 times as hard as like whatever you're going to do, whatever these things.
Like
you need to do it. And then at first you're like, why? You know, but then as you grow up, you realize that what your parents are saying is true.
Yeah.
Because you just you deal with those racisms.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Like imagine the people in Tralee now, yeah. Like that we were growing up with. Some of them are still in Tralee.
Yeah.
If we kind of lived that life as we didn't care about going to college, or we didn't have that parents behind us saying that, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. If we had to live the same life that they were having it, we'd be in a lot more
of a worse scenario.
Yeah,
definitely.
Like we probably have to start doing all the other means to get the money. Do you know what I mean?
You know?
So it's
The side
tough.
missions.
Yeah, literally.
The side missions. You know, all those side missions. You'd have to
Wait,
be
so
doing it.
what is your stance on like all white people are racist?
Not all white people are racist, definitely. But when it comes to like, let's say you have to insult a black person, that's the first thing they probably think of to say or say or
I feel
do.
like that's how you can tell if someone has underlying racism. Because I feel like there are
Piss them off.
You know, there are some white people
And
who will look at
see.
you
Yeah.
and they won't even think of it. They'll just be like, oh, fuck you, you bastard, like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But then you have other white people that the first thing that, like, if that's the first thing that comes to their mind,
Because
it's underlining
it's
there.
literally the difference between you and them, your skin color. Like
exactly.
Man, remember growing up as well, you just feel so like you'd be like the only black person in school, and it's just so. And then they'll be reading a book now, yeah, and then the word nigger is there. You're just like, oh my god.
Oh my! You know, when I was in secondary school, right?
Stuff,
I don't remember if I think I said the name of my secondary school, so I'm not.
Don't say that name, man. I hate
obviously
that
I'm not saying
school.
it. But what I'm saying is like there was a point. I think it was in 50. It was 6th year. You went in the school. You know, you already went to college then. They're watching
Macbeth.
No, is it 21 Years a Slave or something like that?
No.
I can't remember. We were watching it for religion class, but it's not religion anymore. It's just free period essentially. And we were doing that, and the teacher came to me when after we already watched part of it. It came to me like before. It was like, hey, Farouk, are you okay with us watching this movie? I know there's some subtle like tired parts, but I was like, oh yeah, it's calm as long as it's educational, whatever. Okay. I was in my head, I was like, nigga, this is a free period for 30 minutes. I don't give a shit what the fuck we're doing, But lo and behold, that movie made my life even worse because they're like, get back here, nigga. Like that. That movie was meant to like teach all the kids in my school to like not be racist. All the kids in my class were like, come back here, boy. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It was meant to make you guys
it's teaching them how to treat you, like teaching them how to hurt you.
It's insane, and these are the
so
kind of things
awkward as well.
It's so awkward. Like, especially like you, me, who like you said, in our generation, we were like the only black people in each of our like years. Yeah. Or like Boston.
Oh no, I had like two other, but it was still the same thing, man. There was like one black guy for 50 kids, 50 other children. So bad, man.
We're the only ones, and it makes such a big difference.
Yeah. So then, like, what are your answers to people who are like, oh, why can't white people say it?
Say what?
The N-word. Yeah.
Black people shouldn't be able to say it either, man.
Oh.
Yes.
Tell us more.
You think so?
I feel like it's so. Every time this conversation comes up to me, I get very heated. Yeah.
Yeah.
A word will always remain a word. You can never change the definition of a word unless everybody in the whole world now decides, okay, do you know what? This word does not mean you are a slave anymore. That word is always going to and forever will mean that you are.
Unless like you change. Well, it kind of like the way, think about it though, like the word literally. People don't use it in the literal sense anymore. They use it as figuratively instead.
Yeah, but the word nigger means black or slave. If I call you that, people in our community, or let's say who are black themselves, be like, oh yeah, that's just a word, dog, my nigga, dog. No. You slave. Like it doesn't, and I'm not, don't get me wrong, I say it as well, it's not right, but we can never change the word. Some people I be hearing like, do you know them fake woke people that we take back that word and it empowers us, we are kings? That no, you're not, man. Like, chill. The word nigga means slave. It will forever mean that. You never get to change that. Nobody in the world has the power to say, oh, this word now means this. It's like, it's wrong. Like, then you have the scenarios where rappers all use it in their music. And then go to a club.
White boys, white girls.
Go to a club, Go to a club, and then Chris Brown's song, "What Up, My Nigga." Like, do you expect them to now say, "Oh, what up, my"? Or not think it.
All those little new white girls on TikTok, they're always like,
like
even though they're behind
their head, like it doesn't make any sense. And then I remember there was a time, Kendrick Lamar had a concert
on that,
and then
on stage,
and then the girl kicked her off after. Why are you kicking her off when you put the word there yourself? It doesn't make any sense.
Was it in his recent? In his recent album, he said that he actually didn't like the fact that he looking back on it, he didn't like the fact that he did that.
Yeah, like,
he said that in his
really?
Yeah, that he said but the thing is, you see, I have a different stance on that, right? I get it. I do. You see, when I was younger, I used to always be like, oh man, like this word as how are we going? We can't stop them from saying it unless everyone stops saying it. But then as I grew up, I was just like, well, why not? Like, why can't we say it and no one else say it? Like, I'm just like, and I understand it makes no logical sense. All right,
zero.
But at the same time, it's kind of one of those things. I see it as a big fuck you, as in the sense of like this word was used against us for a long time to put us down. Yeah. Right. And by us using it with ourselves, nigger, whatever the fuck, right? Right?
Potato. It's still the same thing. It's still the same thing.
In the end of the day, it's still us using it. And if they can't use it, I know it spites them. Fuck them. I don't care.
But it's so, and a lot of people have that mentality, but it doesn't change the fact that the word means. Like, what's the actual definition of the word nigger? Like, the actual concrete definition?
The actual definition is just like...
I thought it comes from the word...
It's a slave word, like, absolutely, and all that. So, like...
Is it not the word black in Spanish or something? But then they
that's
kind
negro.
Yeah, but I thought that that's where the
Yeah,
inspiration came from.
The inspiration came from like the whole idea that the word is like from Negro, and it using the point of like being like, oh, you're like subhuman, and to segregate us.
So in like a Google translation, just based a black or dark skinned person. So they've diluted it a little bit, but effectively in America or when they were coming to bring us over there,
cotton picking fucking
niggas, they weren't calling you, oh, you are a black person. No, they were saying it to degrade you.
Yeah.
And then even when the word nigger was like starting to look socially bad, they kept calling us, all right, negro.
Yeah, like
negro. Like these Negroes over there.
Honestly, that word will never change its meaning, and it'll never give power to black people saying it to each other, man. That, like, if there's one thing that should be abolished in the black community, that word needs to go first.
No, I think we should still say it. I think fuck them. I feel like, once again, we should have the right to say
Farouk,
it.
I think all the people who want to hurt you will always have that power. Absolutely. Because the word is still there.
It's still, exactly. But Farouk, it's not every white person you can smack,
I know.
There's some big white guys. Like there's some in London, I was on the tube going to Stansted Airport, yeah. And then like this black guy, like, do you know the way like London people are? Like they're very like, oh yeah, what are you saying, fam? Like I was just there. I was just like, man, this guy will knock you up, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna help you because you're like literally
stand back and watch.
Like you're literally causing a scene and you're starting something. Yeah. And I'm looking at you started it, but you are in the wrong. Just because you're black does not mean you're not in the wrong in this situation. Like, just like say apologize, man. Man, they couldn't say apologize. And I was just looking at the guy look Russian. You know them mans that look like they break bottles on people's heads. I was just like, man, if this guy calls you a nigga, what are you gonna do? I'm not going to help you, bro. Man, I don't understand, man. That word should be abolished anyways. That's all I'm saying.
No, that's an interesting take. I'd be interested to see what the black people think about that. I know, man. I feel like it's so hard for us. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like before, when I was younger, I used to never say nigger. I didn't care, right? I didn't care. But now I feel like I just say it subconsciously.
But is that a word that you heard in your household?
And it's
not.
Exactly.
No,
it's
it's
actually
not.
never heard in my household.
Literally,
all of us. Like,
I don't think
I've ever. Back in the day, Nigerians weren't saying nigger.
Yeah.
It was only when we all started listening to rap music and Americans were saying that we started saying it.
And then it started like it's starting like we think it's losing its meaning, but it's not. Like it still means
like absolutely, like if like on God, like the amount of times I fought someone because they call me nigger is ridiculous. Like to this day, if someone was to call me nigger, like I'm throwing hands with them.
Really? Do you know me at this age I'm at? Yeah, I just feel like, look, yeah, I don't even blame you for saying it because niggas, we say it to each other all the time, and then we think now that because we say it to each other, it changes the meaning of it. No, do the LGBTQ community, do they call each other gays?
It's the F word, isn't it? That they like censor that, so that people can't really say that anymore.
Yeah, but they're the same. They call themselves like
I've never
the F slur sometimes.
I've never heard it before.
I haven't heard it.
Not to the same extent, I'd say.
I've never heard it before, and you don't see them glorifying that word and saying
it's like the R word too. Actually,
they don't take it and say, "Oh, we're putting power to this word now because it oppressed us for so long, and now we're gonna say it to each other because now it means this." No, it doesn't mean that. You are.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing is, I feel like that hits different coming. You see that even statement you made, I feel like that hits different coming from your mouth. But I'm not gonna lie. If a white person said that, I'd be like,
well, if a white person said
the same thing you said.
Literally, I completely understand it. If a white person says it, said exactly what I said, it just sounds like you want a reason to say it, but are you doing it for the right reason? That person, you would definitely categorize them as racist. But if you look at it, from a logical perspective, and think about it.
Okay, then what do you feel about the whole, like, this is also a serious topic of like the whole N-word pass thing about like your white friends being like, oh, I have the pass, bro.
He just said no one should say it, and you're like, what do you think of some people say it?
Like, if you let's say what a white guy very well, and he says would you be vexed at him saying it, or would you be like, yo, bro, no one should say that word?
I'd be vexed that he's even saying it, and he has the balls to even say it to me. as well. Do you get me? Like, my views on it, yeah, nobody should say it. Sometimes I use it the odd time, but man, it's not a right word to be using at the end of the day. Like, as black people, like, we want to progress in life. We shouldn't be going backwards. And then we now be vexed in the club if someone is saying the word nigger. Look at the people that are making the music, constantly using that word and saying, oh, we took it back. We took the word back. In what world can you take a word back?
I would hope to God that it was our world that we could take a world back.
Do you guys think that, like, if all white people started saying it and there was no backlash at all, the word would, like, lose its... There would be no more interest in it? Or
because the intent is still the same.
Okay.
The intent.
The intent is
always... And the tone that they're going to use it at as well, it's never going to change.
It would... segregation would have to happen again because a lot of black people would beat the shit out of a lot of white people. Like, there'd be a lot of fights because of that shit.
Sometimes, yeah. No, like, we're all big, black, like, we're strong and stuff, yeah. But I feel like some people think they're bulletproof, bro.
No one's bulletproof, my guy.
Man, like, choose peace always. Like, some people always, man.
No, but you see, the people I really dislike is the racist people with galls. Do you remember? Yeah. Remember when we went to Burna Boy in March last year?
Yeah, what happened?
Oh,
and in the crowd, there was this like Asian guy that he was pushing everyone, doing everything, was pissing a bunch of people off, right?
Yeah.
And then he like started fighting some guy, and then he was saying like, "You black bastard," in a crowd surrounded by black people. I was like, this guy is going to die. The way they started pushing on him, being on him.
But you know the thing is, it's because he's not black. Everybody that's not black, they nearly have more authority or more... Their voices are, like, they're heard more.
You know?
I have a H factor. But yeah, do you get me? Like, you listen to them more. Like, okay, so example, the Jeffrey Dahmer case. That I didn't even watch it because I couldn't put myself through that. Like,
I just left on my list. I need to watch it.
Nah, man, I don't know.
Like, the whole thing about him, if I'm correct, is that he used to target only black men and like
people of color. Yeah, exactly. So now think about it this way, he was targeting them. The police were seeing this, that like loads of black people were getting missing, and they're like, exactly, because if it was a white person now, the whole thing is different.
Sure, even look back into like fucking even as early as the 1900s or whatever, when little white girls would scream case of rape from a black guy who's done nothing, and then they go find him and lynch him.
Exactly. So
like,
oh man, like it's a lot. It's a lot.
No, and that's the thing. Like history, I think that's what fucks with me a lot as well, because like if you deep it, like I think, and that's the crazy thing is like, you know, we hear a lot of those things, see a lot of those things, and the funniest thing for me is like black people, anyway, like from my experience anyway, we've never had any hate for white people off the bat. You get me?
Yeah, it was always because of the way they treated us. Like even when I was younger,
deep when I first came to Ireland, I didn't even, when I saw white people, I was like, oh my god, white people. I was like, this is cool. And I was like, think like these guys are so cool.
No. Don't get it twisted, That you're making it sound like black people can't be racist. Because when I was growing up in about like 5 or 6, there was a white kid in my school, and we used to do this thing. It was like oyinbo pepe, like that we were just doing that because he was just different. But looking back at it now, like I just think to myself, I'm just like, why was I even doing that? But I don't think white people grow up and think that. Some of them don't.
Oh no, it's absolutely learned.
Yeah,
it's
like
absolutely learned. Like, you know,
it's crazy.
It's passed on from one part of the family to the next part of the family, and so on and so forth. And that's the biggest problem, because like if you take, for example, if I let all the things happen to me when I was a kid, like I first came here, I didn't give a shit about. I was like, oh, they're all cool, but then everyone was being racist to me. If I took that to heart and I was like, fuck all white people, fuck everything, I'd pass that on to my kids, being like, yeah, you can't trust these people, you can't do whatever.
And then like you're it's a double-edged sword. You're in a country that's predominantly white, and you're complaining about white people.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, I genuinely think, like let's say for example, we're in Ireland now. The Irish should understand discrimination better than, let's say, a white person from America.
Absolutely.
Like, during when they had to go.
No blacks, no Irish, no dogs, whatever.
Like, you think that they'd be sympathetic and
you think they would, but they still told us to fuck
off. Some of them actually don't give a shit. Like,
don't
to be fair.
I don't. So then on that note, I think you said something there about like, you know, growing up. Do you think like black people can be racist to white people too?
Oh, they can. Like it's possible. Like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely possible.
But I feel like
the occurrence is way less though.
way less, and the intent behind it is because of something.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
It's not innate for
like,
us to,
or learned from like
yeah,
you know, like I have never met a black person who doesn't like white people because they just don't like white people for the color of their skin.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh, all these motherfuckers were racist to me for so long, fuck them.
Yeah.
You know, it's never a situation of like, why?
yeah, I don't think I've ever met somebody like that.
Like, can you even imagine like when like back in the day when we were young and like some people would be like, oh, he's black.
Yeah.
I'm like, the fuck?
we suffered, man. and it's so mad. Like, do you know the way now like Black History Month is very like is incorporated into like society now.
Yeah.
Back then there wasn't any Black History Month.
No
We
such
didn't
thing.
learn anything about, and even us that were in like,
Let's be honest, Black History Month in Europe only really started like 2 years ago.
I could almost say that as well, you know, because in other months when like you'd be at work,
Yeah.
they weren't changing their social media
Don't
color
do
to
anything
black.
like that, you know. I think
Like
let's be
some of
honest.
them, that's all they do, and it's like, oh yeah, we support the Black history.
Because if you
blah, 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 blah.
I was working in 2018, no mention of Black History Month. 2019, no mention. 2020, oh,
Somebody died.
someone died. Everyone's in lockdown. Black History Month in Europe now. It's not just an American thing anymore. You know.
So what can white people do to try to like, you know, be on your side or like
That's a
to
very
help
tough
combat racism?
Like allyship.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, the first thing, don't be racist. Easy ass. But second thing is, I feel like you need to call other white people out on their bullshit. And I don't mean in front of other black people. I mean in secret. As in like, you
front
know,
of
you
white
have a
people
bunch
themselves.
there's so many times, let's not lie. I'd say pretty much every white person has had at least one experience where you're in a room with other white people and someone has said some racist shit.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, move on with it. You need to call that shit out.
Yeah.
Like, because if you don't, they're just like, oh yeah, the niggers aren't around so we can hang around, whatever, say whatever we want. But when we are around, they're like, oh yeah, sure, on their best behavior. If you call it out in secret and you're just like, it's not okay anytime, that's when things will actually change long term.
Yeah, it's gonna be something that's gonna take a while. Like, I feel like they need to understand what it's like to be black,
and
maybe,
that's the thing.
for them to be able to relate.
I feel like it's very hard for lots of white people to understand what it's like to be actually like, you know, to be diminished because of
your
nothing
skin.
you've done.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before as well, like how, when I grew up, like we still barely have any black people in Romania, right?
Yeah.
So when I came here, it was my first interaction with any, and I was like my best friend was like from Nigeria. So
What was this?
You know who it is.
you know who it is.
Oh,
Yeah, this is my first friend, like, and I guess it's because, I don't know, we were both marginalized, right? Because I wasn't from here, whatever, and we were really good friends, but I didn't really put like a label on her or anything. It was just like, this is my friend. It just is what it is. And then I was telling Farouk that like until I like met him, until I heard the problems within the like black community and what you guys face, I wouldn't have known, because like who would have told me what you guys experienced? To me it was just like, oh, everyone's equal, like I just like everyone, my family likes everyone. Like I didn't realize like that there's a lot more to it until then.
And I think like a lot of people always go like, white people are like, oh, they'll always be talking about their stories and talking about that. I'm like, but if we don't tell you how you're meant to know how we feel.
And I feel like if we don't tell you how, like, you never understand as well what it's like. And oh man, like how do you teach somebody like to like just like make everybody
you can go on your normal thing. There have been times I've gone to stores, I get followed around by security guard.
Stop, man.
There was the one time, literally like 2019, I always tell the story, when I was living up in city center, like, you know, near the Spire. I was coming, like, the area I live is like a rough area because there was, you know, like a blocks right beside me, right? You know, and I'm coming back from the gym, I'm wearing shorts and a hoodie, and some guardie was profiling me, being like, what are you doing? Where are you going? What's in the bag? I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Fuck out of here.
Literally, I can literally give you another example of that. In where like the train station near my area, I was literally parked there waiting for someone, and my hoodie was up in my car, and I was on my phone. He saw me, he drove, he came back, And then he goes, oh, what are you doing here? I goes, why? I'm waiting for someone. I was like, oh, what are you doing waiting for someone? Who are you waiting for?
Oh.
My friend. And then he was like, oh, you know, your driving lights are on and you're on your phone. I was like, I'm parked and I'm waiting. So I can't be on. And it's like, oh, what are you doing on your phone? I literally had it there, yeah? I turned it around. I'm on Zara. What do you possibly think I could be doing?
You know?
I literally goes to him. I was like, are you sure you're only stopping me because, you know, you're curious as to what I'm doing or because you saw that I was black? And then he didn't say anything. And then he goes, oh, we're just trying to make precautionary measures. And then now asked me for my ID. I was like, my ID? For what? And then he goes, oh, we just want to make sure that you are who you say you are. I was like... Okay, now this is where it's now getting very weird. You stopped me because I was parked. And then if you say this to a white person, yeah, it's just like, oh.
They're like, no way, that couldn't happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Why would they just do that?
Why would they just do that?
And then...
Exactly, why would they do that?
He took my address and he took my name. But then I was just like, if it was another day now and I wasn't even in the mood, I'll just be cheeky. But then that'll now get me in trouble.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, okay... So where is this going? Like, what's the reason for it? So, oh, we just wanted to make sure that you're not doing anything. I was just like, man, you can go on my history and check. The worst I've done. Okay, I'm not gonna say the worst I've done, but I'm not a criminal.
Yeah.
I have done nothing incriminating as well. But like, you just stopped me and you checked me because I was black, and it's just like,
it's a lot of bullshit.
And then when people say, oh, we used a racist card, man. If there wasn't any racism, the racist card wouldn't exist. Like,
you know, they're like, oh, black people love to pull the racist card. It's like, because every minor thing we do, we get fucking bullshit on us. Like, that's a great example. Another one is my youngest brother, Basi.
Yeah.
This guy is in Clonmel, backwards ass bullshit town in college, right? There's nothing. It's like 1 a.m. or something. He's hungry because, you know, he's like doing animation on his iPad and he's like, shit, I'm hungry actually, and it's already late. He forgot the time. Yeah. It's like, you know what? Let me go to this like local chipper, get some food, and then, you know, go back home. My guy, it's like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. whatever time, walking, and then the guardie, like in an unmarked car, stopped beside him, and then it's like, hey, who are you? And then, but Basi's here. He's 18. He's just started college in the town he doesn't know. Random people in an unmarked car, he's just like, who are you calling me? He's just like, he's trying to walk away and they're like, yo, stop. And then he's like, oh shit. And then they were like trying to pester him and he was freaking out. Like, who are these people gonna try to jump me? You know, or something. And then they're like, oh, what's your name? And then he said, my name is John Smith. Because he didn't
Not the whitest name you could possibly think of. John Smith.
That's he says John Smith because, you know, he doesn't want to give his real name. He's like, who the fuck are these people? And then they get mad and they're just trying to, you know, like they want to come out of his car, like, you know, taking off his seatbelt. And then he's freaking out. He's like, yo, if you're like the guard or somebody, show me identification or some shit. I don't know who the fuck you are. And then they turn on the lights, you know, and then like he starts coming out. He's like, yo, like what the fuck is this, you know? And so he had to like give them his ID there. But the thing is, like, let's be honest, if he was any random white guy walking the street, they wouldn't give a shit.
You'd never stop him.
But they probably did drive past a bunch of white people on the street.
And it was him. They were like, oh, stop. But like, what are you doing at this time of the day? Is he not allowed to live?
Yeah. Like even for Black History Month, do you ever see the police do anything?
No. God diggity damn. I don't like if maybe if they are, I don't know, boy. I've never seen it.
I don't hear a single thing that they do for Black History Month when a lot of the issues they're not even doing properly because they're racist themselves. And I'm not gonna say all of them or any person in power is racist.
But the thing is, like, they also, I feel like all these things they always try to, like, everyone tries to save face. Like, take for example, like my dad, right? He would, because he's on the Guard of Reserve, right? Yeah. So he's technically the second black guard in all of Ireland ever, right? Like when they were doing the Gardaí promotional video, they called them up.
Of course
when they were doing,
oh my god, gender and what's the inclusion or something like that?
You know, like
diversity,
And then when they were doing their Garda Síochána anniversary, you know, like of how many, I think it's 100 years, I don't know. They called him up.
You were in every single workday picture ever.
Freaking, I was in every single, in secondary school, everything, you know, but like, I understand it. I understand you need to show diversity because if by seeing people, it's like my dad has a story when he was in this, like going on patrol, right? Before that people were like, like there's some black kids and they're like, yo, one of our own, because it was the first time anyone has ever seen a black guy. They're like, yo, one of our own. But to some of those kids, it's inspiring. And this is like comes to the whole topic of like what's it called, representation. You know, and that's the thing, is like representation matters, you know.
It does
See, and I get that, but if like 30 years in a row the only photos they're seeing is of your dad, like where are the others? Like,
you know, I keep remixing the same picture.
The same.
Why is there no one else?
Yeah,
like, why is it so hard?
Like it's just because we don't get equal opportunity, and a lot of white people would love to argue that that's the case, but it's so
they
true.
Actually would like,
and you know, it's like, and the thing is like, and they always go like, oh, now you have all your quotas like diversity higher, and it's like, okay, I get you, but at the same time, it's like, if you
why does there have to be a
diversity higher in the first place? Like it's because we don't get the opportunity.
Like it makes like. You deep it, like there has to be like an inclusion or diversity and inclusion sort of like quota that needs to be met. Yeah, that is crazy.
It's like, why aren't you hiring us? And then white supremacists love to say it's like, because you're just not as intelligent. No, nigga, I'm working twice as hard as you. I'm literally having to do everything that you've done plus more, but I'm just not getting the same opportunities because what? Like literally, there are times. There's this story of when I was in college that the way they did these modules for the lecturing or whatever for this single class, like, you know, helping is like whoever had the highest grades or the people who got to tutor and stuff like that. I literally had like the second highest grade in this module, right? I got like 97 or 98. Tell me why? Because when they saw my name Farouk Falade, they didn't pick me.
They said, nigger.
No, they didn't pick me. They didn't pick me. They just moved on.
Oh, stop, man.
You know?
It's so backwards. Like sometimes, when I was younger, I used to always like imagine, I was like, if all the black people in the world just went back to Africa, like, and we just did our own thing over there and just secluded ourselves away from, like, would you still come at us, or would you still want to be a part of our culture, or would you still be interested in our culture? Like, I know it was very childish thinking back then, but like, I almost thought that like that would save us from all the like
bullshit,
like all the oppression and all that jazz. Like, man, if only that could happen.
Nah,
but I don't even know if I'd want that. Like, I like living
in a mixed world. Because like that's where you get different ideas, different everything. You know,
you learn about different cultures. You learn 100%.
You know, like I still want to go to India and actually learn about the culture.
You know, we strive together and everything, and it's crazy because like, if you think about it, like the entire white world, as you know, Western world, as you know, it was built off the backbone of black people.
And you know, saying that, oh man, it's so problematic. Like, even scientists have proven that the black skin has been here long before white
Africa
skin.
is essentially the cradle of the world. Like people came.
Don't say that before they come at you, man. But it was actually a white person scientifically proved that it is, but then they still.
It's like, believe him, not us.
Even at that, like America was built off slaves, and even if people don't even want to argue the whole slave-built buildings, all the resources that make
let me tell you something,
the Western world what is stolen from Africa.
Let me tell you something. Americans are the worst.
Oh my days!
Not the American honeys now. You guys are beautiful, of course. But deep it, America is actually not a white country originally. Bro, and the Americans are so confident to say that we are Americans because we are the founding fathers of this nation.
You literally kick Native Americans off their land.
Literally,
there are people living there.
Like, you guys are not like, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we are proud Americans." I'm like, you're basically the same as this black person. You literally, your ancestors only came 200 years earlier than the rest of them, but yet you think you have more right over this country than the people that you brought here yourselves.
And you killed a lot as they were getting there as well, and they killed them when they got there. You know,
it's crazy, man.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you guys, and these are taken from BuzzFeed. So there's some lighthearted questions, there's some like deeper questions, and it's like questions for black people, which is like tells you everything. One of them is, why is it hard to be on time?
Let me tell you something now, I hate African time. That's what it's called. Okay. And I'm not, what's it called? What's the word? Someone that condones African time. I hate that, My mom has always told me, if you're going to be late, be early. So always be early, even if You know, even if there's a chance that you might be late, just always be on time. I don't know where this African time thing came from. It's so...
I think it's because we all know, like, take a motive. If a motive starts at 10, you know everyone's not going to be there until like 12.
Because everybody wants to stunt and be fashionably late and all this jazz.
But
let's go there on time, Darius, so we can go home. Like, deep now, in Ireland, there's no point doing African time because by 12 o'clock they're shutting the thing down because one person has thrown bottle at somebody, or like if everybody came on time, we won't complain that it's being shut down because we've actually enjoyed ourselves. Like some people come there 20 minutes and it's done. Like,
also, you're paying for this, so you might as well just get your money.
I don't know why
it's hard because I know especially like for most, I know someone's going to be late, so I'm like, I don't want to go there at 10 and I'm just sitting there for 2 hours. It's dead.
So it's not because you want to. It's just like...
It's because I know I have to.
Yeah.
I have to be late because I know.
And you know, funny thing is, like, let's say a motive is like at 10. Wow, man, we're not getting there till like 11:30, 12.
You know?
Why? Because... And then, what if... Imagine they said it's free entry. We still won't get there on time. Like...
There's so many times I've seen places that are like, 10 o'clock free entry. I'm like, I'm still going at 12 and I'll pay.
I'll pay the 20 euro.
I'll pay. I know the worst thing is, when I know I'm going to go at 12, I start getting ready towards 12, and then it hits 12, I'm like, oh shit, I have to leave now. And then I'm late, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm honestly the problem.
Honestly, like, it's just, I don't know, man. That needs to change.
Nah, it does, honestly.
Next question. Why do some black men only date white women?
Jeez. That's a loaded question right there. That's something I've discussed with Nicolette a lot of times. I feel like that's just a thing of self-hatred, not gonna lie. Really? And I think it has to come from a place. And like, once again, a lot of these fucking coon niggas are gonna fucking come and be like, you're with a white girl. Yeah, there was like 2 black girls in our town.
To be fair, I hear it. Like, I would have said I was very, like, I would only, because like that's all I ever saw. But then once I reached outside of Chile, oh my god.
But at the same time I feel like there's people who are in like nice situations, like there's someone I genuinely have a connection with. And they're there with me since I was young. I love them, I'm with them, right? Yeah. And then I think there are niggas who are just like, they've been so brainwashed by Western media.
Black men.
You know?
Yeah.
Not
the N-word.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's be part of the change.
There's so many black men that have been so brainwashed by Western beauty standards, all this shit.
100%.
And like all this stuff, like shitting on black women, all that stuff. And so that they just get on and they're like, yeah, I only like white girls. It's such cool mentality. Yeah. Like, you're literally brainwashed by white guys into your preference, you know? Yeah.
What if it's like, oh, like I've heard some of your friends say, like, oh, just white girls are easy, so it's like...
Man, I hear this, but I don't see it. I don't, like, I've never dated a white girl. But I've never dated because I feel like, people say, oh, it's so easy, but I'm just like, how is it easy to get to know someone that's not your culture? Like, I'm always interested in actually getting to know someone, but then the cultural differences as well, it's part of it. Like, a white person now, me getting to know a white person, the way I banter and interact with them, it will probably be different from the way I banter and interact with a black
girl and a woman. Everything is different.
Yeah, so then, like when they say, oh, white girls are easier, I'm just like...
To me, anyone who's saying that, they're just talking about pure, like, snow bunnies. And I don't even know...
Snow bunnies, oh my god.
I hate. And look at me now, I hate snow bunnies with a passion. Because why? Why would you go after a woman that you know wants you nothing but because of fetishization? Because of in her head, she's fetishized you, all these black men this, black men that, and that's all she wants you, just because of pure stereotypes. She doesn't want you for you. She doesn't care about who you are. She wants half-caste babies. Oh my days!
I hate that.
That is real coon mentality. Yeah. That, and saying that, being like, and also this is what causes the divide in our community between black men and black women, where like black women have been shot on by white guys and shot on by black guys that were meant to have their back.
I don't understand.
Shout
out to all the black queens. I love you. I do.
It's crazy because they were shot on by the white guys, okay, but then shot on by the people who are meant to have your back because they were brainwashed by stupid social media.
Yeah,
like
I don't understand it anyways.
It's dumb as fuck.
Like, I would love to be able to experience other cultures and actually date a woman that's not black, but I personally don't know how to, and I wouldn't say it's easy. Like, do you get me?
Yeah.
I would, because like I wouldn't even know what to say to you. Like,
It's like, what do you like? Do you like jollof rice?
like, and
Asaro.
I like white dishes, but I don't know. The interaction for me personally, anyways, is different. I wouldn't say they're easy because I've actually never.
Yeah.
Okay. On the mixed kids thing that you just said, like I've heard this a lot. Do you know what? It's more common than I thought it was. Like a lot of girls who want, like, you know, I just want the mixed kids, which is so messed up because for me, I always saw it as like, I'm a little bit like afraid that I can't be a good enough example to my child because it's like, well, my experience is never going to be the same as my kid automatically 100%. Straight off the bat. So then to me, that's like, oh my God, I'm so much more weary of like how I teach them, how I raise them. So I don't understand the like, oh, I just want the kid. Like, what do you mean? You need to raise the kid. So there's a lot more to it. That was interesting. On to the next question. How can I develop genuine friendships with people of color?
Just don't see them as someone of color, I feel.
I think if you just see them as
people that you just
want to get to know. Oh, like you like playing football.
Yeah.
Why'd you like playing football?
You know, it's not like, because like, I feel like there's a lot of people who are unintentionally racist. You know, like all those black people who are like they're so self-conscious about being racist.
That
they're like, oh, like what do you like? They'll be like, what you want to eat? You know, like. And you know they don't want to say like even if they like KFC, they don't want to say KFC because they're like, oh, you like chicken as well.
Don't get it twisted. I love chicken. I don't want to be part of the problem with chicken.
They're constantly like tiptoeing and they're shitting themselves.
Yeah.
You know, but like, why you have your guard up? Just be them the same way you interact with anybody else.
Yeah, like it's so like just be normal. Like you don't have to like just pretend that they don't have a skin color.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's literally it. If everybody could just pretend that there's no color, there will be no like.
Not one of those I don't see color people, but like
those
like,
ones are
weird. Like, but like, you know, as in like genuinely just don't give a shit.
Yeah, like you genuinely want to know a person because you want to know the person.
Yeah, exactly.
Not because I want to make a black friend and I want to listen to black music.
I hate those white people who did you because you were in Cardiff, so you're a little bit better. I was in Cork. Yeah. Where there was bare white people, and like literally, Nicola has seen this many times. I'll be in the club having a good time, and there's some random white person will come to me like, yeah, and they want to take off. I'm like, do I look like a fucking monkey in a zoo? Yeah. Get the fuck out of my face!
Oh man. And they do it so like they do it and they think that it doesn't mean cool. anything, but subliminally like
you know because they're like I look cool. I have a black friend.
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah, that's good. That's good. We're doing some good work. We're doing some good work.
But you said you'd find it like difficult to date a white girl because of the differences. Is it the same for friendships?
Probably. Oh man, I have a perfect scenario. Remember when I used to work with I'm not gonna say the company, but in Cork, I actually had a white friend that I really became very, very close with, and like you could see that like if you look past color, he was literally the opposite of me in a sense. Like we didn't listen to the same music, but he appreciated like black music as well, and he would like put me on like let's say some like techno soul house music and stuff like that. Like it was the friendship was actually he was willing to like learn about my culture and the things.
To learn.
Yeah, and I remember on a night out, we went for a work night out, and in the club, no, not in the club, in the bar that we were at, this old white guy comes to where we were taking drinks, and then he goes, "Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something?" I was like, "Yeah, come on, tell me." He goes, "Oh, you know you're as black as my shoe." I said, "Wow." I opened my mouth like, what am I even supposed to do? And back then, I wasn't as calm as I am now.
You're more confrontational.
I was more confident. I was just like, but then I stopped for a second. I was just like, this man's old, first of all. If I even try anything, I'm gone.
Yeah, he's dying. Let's be honest. You hit him, he's on the ground.
It's not even on a hitting him thing, because I wouldn't have even hit him. If I even said anything to him, and God forbid he gets a stroke or something like that now, it's me. But they're not going to see that, you're saying, you're as black as my shoe.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like,
what the fuck does that even mean? Your shoe is actually way darker than me. I'm chocolate. I'm not that color black.
You know?
Jeez.
Oh, man, and then you can see that the way when he said it, his response was like, yo, why are you saying something like that? Go away from us. Like, and like he was actually there to defend the scenario. He didn't just sit there and look at it and just like, oh,
which is key.
Yeah,
that's key.
That's
proper allyship. Like,
yeah, and it's not even just about allyship. It's like seeing somebody as your equal.
Cool, exactly.
And he just saw that and was like, yo, that's not cool, man. Go away from us. Do you know what I mean? Like something like that. Like, and that was a friendship that was formed from us just meeting each other at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was natural. There was nothing like wrong with it. Like he even told me that there were some white girls that were on it. Still, but I didn't go there.
It's like I
didn't go there.
That's cute. This question was actually made by like a black person. So she said, "Why don't we like to confront our mental health issues?"
Oh
man, that's years of. That's not even. Like, I think that comes back all the way to African mentality. I'm not going to lie to you. Think about it. For the longest time, like even when I was growing up, my mom, my dad, like my dad has changed. My mom, she's coming around slowly but surely. But like they're all like, oh, why are you depressed? Just go outside. Why are you sad? Just do this. You know, like you shouldn't be playing. You can't be this. You know, and forget about it. No word of therapy was ever even mentioned in life, right?
It's like you're not supposed to talk about.
It's something you're not even meant to talk about. Like even like. For example, like a great example was when I was in 5th year, like I had like really bad sickle cell attack, everything for like, I was in the hospital for like 6.5 months, right? Yeah. And then afterwards, it had a mental toll on me, right? Yeah. And so my doctors like got me a therapist to see, and I went to see the therapist. But like even the first time when my doctor talked about it, right? My mom was like, no, he doesn't need to go to therapy. He doesn't need to do any of that. But like, I think my dad kind of saw it from my viewpoint that, yo, I was actually needing that, and he was coming around. And then even after that, it worked well for me because like it was the mental effect of it before I went to therapy was causing me more attacks. And then after I went, I had less because I was in a better place mentally. Yeah. And my dad was able to be like, yo, this makes sense. This is something that it's not taboo, right? Yeah. But like so many African families, like if you have a son with any mental issue, it's seen like a stain.
It's a stain, yeah. You like know? Even for me personally, like I've actually been to therapy. Like I've actually gone, and at first, before I'd never even told anybody about it. I just went myself just to like talk and see like you be going through things and you don't want to talk to with anybody else because first of all, if you talk to it a certain way with certain people, they just see you as weak or like, oh,
they're like, man, what you do now, man?
Yeah,
like,
but then there's so many things that go on in this life where like you kind of need to have someone to talk to that's not going to judge you and actually going to listen to what you have to say and kind of like give you their opinion on like what you're going through and things like that. You know, like having someone to just listen to you can change so much.
Absolutely.
In a person. And because we're African or black, it's not really looked at as a good idea to like, oh man, go and play outside, Jerry.
Yeah, what are you doing,
Like literally, like I don't even think I've ever like told. Well, my dad, anyways. I don't think I've ever spoken to him in a like, oh, this is what I'm going through. More my mom, I suppose. But like, it's so frowned upon.
Exactly. Like it's
like something you don't do.
And that's something we really need. Absolutely, we need to change
100%.
in our community. Like it's something that mental health is a proper health, you know.
Yeah, like
and it's something that we do need to take a little more seriously. Like yes, I understand. Like they can be like especially from, I guess the thing is from their background, they're like lots of people around us died. We had to hawk. We had to do all these things. Yeah. They're like, how do you guys are in a better life? How could you? But things like people go through things in different ways that affect them in different ways, you know. And like you just have to be there for people.
Yeah,
you know,
it's tough, and it's something that the black community needs to unlearn. Be able to speak about how you feel as well.
Yeah,
I agree on the Eastern European.
So
my side of family too. They're very like, why would I do that? Why would you suggest I go to therapy? You think
it's not even just
something wrong with me?
White people too.
But sure, like it's so funny. My dad always says, like used to always say back in the day, that Eastern Europe is just Africa and Europe. Like they're all exactly the same as us. You know, like because
they just had white skin as well.
Yeah, exactly. They're shot on and everything like that as well. So
yeah. And on to the last question, which ties up with a lot of what's going on in the world right now. What's wrong with All Lives Matter?
Oh my God, fucking Kanye West and White Lives Matter, the whole story there.
I genuinely think Kanye West is someone that actually needs to go to therapy.
He absolutely,
because I don't think he understands that like he's fueling white people to actually believe
white supremacists.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's a coon. and actually, such a creative guy. He's an icon. But I'm just like, you're using your
platform to complete.
To
like. I watched a really good video, and like if you guys want to watch it after this, Casey Neistat made a video on he titled "Kanye West Broke My Heart," and he encompasses so well everything I literally thought. Like if I was saying to Nick, like, if I made a video about it, that's what like the funniest thing is when I was younger, and my dad would always say this. I used to always say fuck Kanye. Like I was like, this guy's crazy, this guy's annoying, right? Yeah. But then, and my dad was like, no, this guy's smart or whatever. And then eventually, as I was growing up and I started listening to Kanye more, seeing what he's doing, I was like, this guy's a fucking genius, you know? Yeah. And I was like, this guy's an artist, like a true artist. Like we're talking like Leonardo, you know, all the people, super creative people, like, you know, they don't give a shit about where, like everyone's going in one direction, but they go in the direction they want to go, right? They don't give a shit. And he was doing that. And he built a massive following doing that. And there are a lot of people who look up to him. And for him to put on that, like when I saw that White Lives Matter t-shirt, I was vexed beyond belief.
It boils back to, I feel like he's going through stuff. I remember. I think it's like after he lost his mom.
That it's just everything started going parabolic.
I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. But maybe he never fully healed from that situation, or like.
Yeah, he was really close with his mom. I don't know if you saw his documentary. Like she was really there for him. Like he depended on her a lot. So.
And then all the anti-Semitic bullshit. Like it's just.
I don't know, like all lives matter. It's just a cop out to be like, oh,
it is literally
all lives matter.
That statement,
just black people.
I'll tell you right now, fuck you if you don't believe in that statement, because that statement literally only exists just to undermine Black Lives Matter. Literally, and the reason that statement pisses me off is it's like everything we've ever done in our life. Like anytime a black person wants to do anything. There's always some racist white person trying to undermine everything you're doing by doing something that's antithesis to what you're doing. 100%. And the all lives matter thing is literally just the antithesis of it. Just being like, fuck you. I don't want you to have your voice. I don't want you to actually shed light on what's actually important. I'm going to be like, oh, you're the racist one now because you're not saying everyone matters. No, Black Lives Matter does not mean Black lives are better. It doesn't mean Black lives are more important. It means that we get fucked so much that as if we are nothing, and we're saying we're not nothing. We are on the same playing field as you, and that's what it means. And by you saying all lives matter, it's like shut up and stay where you are.
Yeah, like I feel like they say it to just oppress us, even though we're trying to tell them not to oppress us. It's like sometimes I look at the world and I just think everything is so backwards. Sometimes I was like, God, please just come and take everybody. But I'm like, God, wait till I have grandkids first before you take it. But like so many things that are that people should think about logically. We're saying Black Lives Matter because you are oppressing, you are killing people, and you are getting away with it. You are doing X, Y, and Z. But then you're now like, oh, but other people are getting killed. Like, other people are not getting killed just because you're black, though.
Yes.
Like, if a white person is getting shot, or if a white person is getting, like, they're doing something. Man, the people that that shoot up the whole church, the people that shoot up schools that are white, nothing ever happens to them for some reason. Like, they are still alive. But then somebody breaching his CD or trying to, or whatever, I can't remember what it was that he did again, but they, like,
so many.
In my head, I'm
sure
just like...
I can't remember his name, but the little kid who was playing around and he had a toy gun or whatever, and then they're like, oh, he has a weapon. Shoot him. The fuck do you mean?
But yet, somebody that's shooting up a school somehow
AR-15
gets to walk out of the school with handcuffs, and it'll now be, oh, he was going through family issues, or
he was a mentally deranged kid, like, or whatever.
And then they now say that racism isn't blatant or isn't obvious. Like, it's so scary. It's like, are you closing your eyes to what is actually happening?
Like you see a black kid is like thug.
Yeah, like know? Man, when was I on the train station on that stupid train as well? A white woman came to sit next to me, and I literally put my bag on my shoulder and just turned to the other side because I don't want any interaction. Even when I'm walking the road at night, and I see, for example, a group of white, I cross the road because I don't want it to be a case of, oh, he did this. Oh man, literally, this world is actually so scary because those kids that the Central Park 5.
Yeah.
Like
them kids weren't even knowing that they were accused of rape.
Like,
oh my.
and they framed them as well.
You know?
Like I always involve interactions where I feel like something can happen that will not go my way because of my skin color.
Absolutely.
Like,
bro, like, and you know, people always go like, oh, that can. I'll give you guys a fucking story right now. You know, when I was in secondary school, I was in like second year or something, right? We had I can't remember the name of the class. It was like one of these CSPs or whatever. Some class, a class that instead of going to a class, we went to play football, right? Yeah. In that class, there was something that happened where someone whistled, right? And what's it called? The teacher's like, who's whistling, right? And I wasn't the one that whistled, and then they were just like they're getting mad, they're doing whatever, right? And everyone was getting pissed, and then they were like, oh yeah, I was like, nigga, I did not whistle. Black. Oh my god, I didn't.
My black
whistle.
man, I didn't whistle.
Like, I did not whistle. And they all say whatever, and then they wouldn't let it go. They didn't let it go, and I was just like, oh my god, and because I was just sick of it, I was like, okay, to the teacher, I was like, okay, I whistle. Let's just get over it, let's move on, right? And then the teacher is like, okay, you're gonna have to go get serious punishment. And then when I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna get serious punishment for something I didn't do. I was like, you know what? Let me just tell you right now, I didn't do it. The only reason I said yes is because I was sick of everyone going against me, right?
Yeah.
And so the teacher's like, okay, that's understandable, but someone has to go come forward. And like the teacher's like, okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah. And then no one came forward. And they kept, for the whole school year, we had to, every time we went to that class, we had to write lines, right? Yeah. Until someone admitted the whistle. The person who whistled never admitted it. Jesus. And the entire class was blaming me for whistling when I didn't whistle, just because I was the one black guy in that class.
Talk about oppression.
Oh my god. Nah, I was vexed.
People that say all lives matter, man. We're not saying that all lives don't matter. We're just saying
black
that
lives matter too, innit?
Not even that black lives matter. Like, look at the situation, and if this was happening to you, how would you feel about it? How would you feel that like your kids can't go to school and let's say walk home with your hoodie up and just go to the shop or do anything? How would you feel if they were oppressed because they were white? Man, if aliens came now and took over the whole world and whatever now, and they just start killing people just because, are you guys going to kill me for it? Like,
or are you like, oh my god, we're getting oppressed?
Then we can say all lives matter because nobody else is getting killed except for all of us. We're all dying because they don't see color. We're all the same.
Yeah,
like
they're just ants or silly humans.
That's such a weird analogy, but
it makes
like,
sense.
Some people just
honestly, I say this. I was like, if a white person ever, even for a week, had to experience what a black person had to go through,
bro,
their whole worldview would change,
bro.
They would cry in the corner.
Like, I find it so funny that like I'd be walking down the road and someone would think to cross. I cross because I don't want to be, what's the word? The wrong place at the wrong time kind of thing. Do you get me? Like,
and these are the things they don't have to think about.
They never have to think about it. Like, you come and sit next to me on the bus and you think that I'm not going to turn my bag and put it there. Are you crazy or what? Like, I remember even that same day in the airport, I was sitting on a chair, and then this woman was sitting on, she was already sat on the chair, yeah? And then she carried her purse and then she put it close to her. I was just like, unless you're a millionaire, I'm not looking at you like, honest to God, like I don't feel like I need anything from you. I'm comfortable where I am. Like,
there was one time in this apartment block, I was coming around the corner or whatever. There was this woman and she was holding her bag, and I was just coming after throwing the bin away. Yeah. And then she comes, I was like, oh, hello, and then she's like, I was like, in our compound, I'm living in the same building as you, paying the same amount of money. You think I'm going to rob for me when there's a camera there and there's an elevator? Why do I care about you?
Oh, stop, man. I feel like they have main character syndrome sometimes as well.
But do what Farouk did when you clutched your bag. Make them feel the same.
No. Yeah, I actually tried to do that as well because you're not going to see.
Get their own medicine.
Yeah, there was one time weird.
I was on the Lewis. And I was just coming out from a thing. I was on the Lewis, and then there was this like white woman that was coming near me. This old white lady, but she looked like one of them. She was like, and so I was holding like my tote bag, and she like came near me, and I just like held my tote bag a little bit tighter. She got vexed at me. I had my earphones in, and she was screaming, but I was just like, still going like this, like,
crazy white woman.
Oh, why is she talking?
If you give them their own medicine, they're not gonna like you.
She was so mad. as if like, how could you disrespect me, you dirty little, that's what she was thinking. But I'm like, this is what you guys be doing to me, and I don't complain. I walk my own way. But look at you to you start screaming.
Oh,
I love
man.
to see it. But yeah, that's all I have here. Anything else you guys would like to add?
What would you like to close off as your closing statement to
As the host,
as to black people, to white people, to everybody?
Treat everybody equally, man. As hard as that is to say and to do, unless we just start at one point, we will never end racism. We'll never end the oppression. We'll never end anything, really.
Absolutely agree. Also, by the way, Wale looks better than me because he got a chop. So
You said this the last time. You said something like that the last time.
I
as
look
well.
homeless because I haven't gotten a haircut. I'm getting my haircut on Friday. Wale.
I'm not getting my haircut.
He
on
came
Friday.
correct. He came correct.
I'm not getting. Oh, I have a question for you guys as well.
Yeah.
Nicoletta, do you feel like there's a pressure on you as a white woman dating a black man?
Pressure from who?
Doesn't matter. Anywhere. Do you feel like you're looked at?
This is funny you asked this because I did have a conversation with one of my friends, and she was saying that, like a lot of like black girls your age won't like you because you have a good black man who wants to be with you,
You have a good man right
yeah.
here, you know what I'm saying?
And I was like, whoa, like
relax, chill.
you ain't that good. I was like, yo, like what, explain, like, what
This
you
friend is
mean?
black, by the way.
She is.
Ooh.
We're just.
We won't say their name,
Yeah,
but I'll
we'll
tell
tell you
you.
after. But yeah, she was kind of just explaining to me like just how like like growing up, like black girls in Ireland and stuff, they weren't really looked at by the black guys here, and they weren't like treated equally and things like that.
Really?
She was sharing her experience with me, so
I
like
don't
yeah.
understand this. Look, I don't understand
shit.
black men sometimes as well. You need to tell me, like, oh my, let me not even talk.
Yeah.
But
One more that is black.
I genuinely think that, like, actually, let me not even say it. Keep going. But
Yeah.
I'm so confused by that. Like,
Yeah, I don't get it, but like obviously it's important to listen and to hear it
Yeah.
out. And she was just saying that, and then I do feel like sometimes I'm like, it's like I do see a lot of the white girls and what they're like and the shit they say, like I just want a mixed race baby, or like fetishizing black men, and I'm like, I feel like I do kind of have to prove that I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit over that. For me, it's important to prove myself to his family that, like, I'm here to, like, take care of him and, like, love him. I'm not here for, like, anything else. And, like, at the end of the day, people are going to talk. People are going to say whatever they want to say, and you just move on, like, with your life,
It's tough.
Stuff
Yeah.
out here. Sucks to be you, bro.
No. Like, it's just, yeah. I've definitely seen a lot with being with him.
Definitely, I do feel like if you're not a coon and you're a black guy, I feel like you do definitely, and you're with a white girl, you do have to, like, I feel like you have to prove a lot more.
Yeah.
That you're not with this white girl just because you prefer white girls. You're with this white girl just because it just happens to be the case, you know? And it's like, and it's so weird because we live in a world where you have to kind of like be like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, I'm with this person just because of circumstances and I love them, not because of like hating. And it's just because we've all dealt with so much shit in the community,
It's true.
Everyone has a lot of pain and do everything, and it's like, it's like whatever it is. And I still said it's because of them damn coons. Like, I always laugh at your man. What's his name? Dr. Umar or whatever. Like, but he has valid points. Like,
No,
there's
he does,
sometimes
yeah.
like there are a lot of people who do a lot of dumbass things and have those bad names. And I feel like we just have to work in a way where like we just have to. As it's to your ending point that if we all just start caring about each other, people would not be giving a shit about who anyone is, who anyone's with. They were just like, we're all in this together and end the story. But to be honest, I'm cynical. I don't think we're ever going to get to that point.
True.
I don't
But I even have another question. And on the topic of Black History Month, how do you feel like us as a community or as a race could improve like the whole Black History Month experience for people that aren't of color? So
I
like,
think-
the way that Black History Month to us is all this, and this. You as a person, are you actually seeing the impact that month is bringing, or are you benefiting, or are you gaining more knowledge of the experiences that we do have, or anything like that? It's not. I feel like it's not really done
I
Or is it
think
just
no.
me?
Do you know what? I think it is important though. I do think it is, and like not that it is for me because I've been with Farouk for a long time, and I've seen the things. Like I've seen people walk away from us because he's with me. I've seen his experiences, but like I think, like Farouk said, it's so important to talk about it because there's so many white people who are not maybe necessarily racist. They're just kind of indifferent, but they don't know what you guys experience. So I think it's important to just put it in front of them so that they're aware it's happening, and that way they can, you know, change their ways or like learn.
Should it only be put in front of people for just 1 month though?
No, I think it should always be put in front of people. But I think, do you know what? I've seen a lot with TikTok. I think it's very good for raising a lot of awareness around things that people are uncomfortable talking with. And I think it's really good for that we're seeing it happen every day. Like, you know, it's kind of constantly happening. But at the same time, I'm glad that there is a month in which there is awareness on this. Because if it was like how it was back in the day, like not at all, I don't know how much that would solve, you know, like you have...
Something's better than nothing, essentially.
Like you have Pride Month, you know, like at the end of the day, it's good that there's some movement in the right direction. So.
I'd want to definitely see more things being done. I feel like it's not enough. And I don't know exactly what we would need to show that, like, okay, Black History Month is more than just showing, oh, Black people are here, like they're doing this. Like, for example, like I saw there are like things happening in Ireland for Black History Month, and I was just like, in my head, I'm just like, are you only doing this because it's Black History Month,
or because you genuinely care,
or you generally care about the
improving
the opportunities that these people have in these kind of spaces? Are you only doing that because it's Black History Month, or you actually see the talent that they're bringing to the community and things like that? Because like once Black History Month is over now, are you guys going to continue pushing them forward, or are you going to push them forward? Are you going to like give them the spaces to grow, or are you just going to leave it as this month is done? It's
like their agenda is like the checkbox. That's it.
Everyone changes their profile pictures.
But at the same time, like had that not happened, so many like Black Irish creators wouldn't have been even seen by like say like Brown Thomas did like, you know, whole thing, having the Black and Irish as well. Like I think that's so important, even if it is happening once in a while. Because it's just not happening like at all otherwise. So it's
at least something is better than nothing.
Exactly. It's a step forward, but like it would be nice to obviously see fully like
around the year everyone actually giving a shit. But but as they say, slowly but surely, I still think racism always gonna be there.
It's always gonna be there. It's always gonna be there.
But we try our best, y'all. We just want our kids to have a better life than we did, you know? 100%. Like if my kid is not called a nigger until like he's like 10 years old, I'll be happy.
Honest, that's actually be an accomplishment.
You know? Up until 10 years old, you never... that's an accomplishment. You know?
Kids are so mean as well. I swear to God. Like, I remember in school one time as well, oh my God, like, I walk in, and this fella called me, oh, you black bastard. This was like in primary school as well, And then everybody in the class was like, oh. And then the teacher came in, and then it's like, I said, oh yeah, he called me a black bastard. And then she was like, oh, do you want to report it? And in my head, I was just like, I remember that day very vividly. I was probably like 10. And I was just like, what do you mean, do I want to report it? That means if I don't say anything, you're not going to do anything about it. And it's just like, like, oh man.
He's asking you a kid too.
Yeah, like
it's... Do you want to report it?
Yeah,
no.
like,
I want to stay
I even remember the fella that even called me because we went to the same secondary school together as well.
You know? No, man. You know, kids are dickheads.
Honestly. Like,
and the authority doesn't do anything because they don't care. They don't care.
I just hope it's different now, though.
I do. I really do. Because honestly...
Always feeling like you're different is...
It's tiring, man.
It's tough, man.
It's tiring.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I hope it's better.
Yeah, but hopefully that gives you guys an insight, you know, into what it is, what we feel and everything, and it helps you do better. It helps you help other people. Hey, send this around, let people know. If you think someone's low-key racist, send this to them and see what they say.
Yeah. And also to all the black women that feel like black men aren't treating you right, I'm here for you. Baby.
Special message.
He'll treat you well.
Honestly. Like, I genuinely can't believe that, like, I don't know, maybe because I didn't experience it. Like, a girl saying that, like, oh, Like, cause white girls weren't looking at me when I was younger. Like, they weren't really actually looking at me. Like, and even to be fair, black girls weren't even looking at me either, man. What am I even saying? They weren't even checking for me. Like, do you remember it was the other day that I found out? Was it this year or last year that I found out that your friend had a crush on me for ages, and I didn't even know. I was shocked. I was like, rah. What? If I knew, maybe I'd be like you. Maybe you never know, like, you know.
Boy, this.
Still.
But you see, that's the type of energy we need. Don't care, we you know, it's good. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with your guests and the host.
The host, of course, you know. Thank you guys for coming, and hope to see you next week. Peace.